Check out the links in my description for more information, for more resources. Check out the podcast. Check out the Facebook groups. Just check out the links. There's a lot of great stuff there. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, like, dislike, whatever you want to do. This is my Taxgeta Death and Taxes deck. One copy of the leader. 4 Gohan posing the demon. 4 Kaioken Goku. 4 Broly counter reversal. 4 Goku and Eye for an Eye. 4 Foreseeing hit. 4 Oceanus. 4 Topo. 4 Trunks Skillless. 4 Vegeta Proud Warrior. 4 Homicidal Clones. 4 Goku Jr. Vegeta Jr. Saint Son. 4 Gotenks Unison of Rage. 4 Sin Shenron Unison of Calamity. And 1 Frieza's Army Reborn. So this deck is a combination of the Death and Taxes strategy along with the open hand strategy. So Foreseeing Hit, Gotenks, Sin Shenron, and Frieza's Army Reborn have the ability to let me look at my opponent's hand and rip cards out their hand. So that's the open hand strategy. So that allows me to see what's in their hand, know what's in their hand, get rid of any problematic cards in their hand that I don't want them to have, like, let's say, a Oceanus or Topo or anything similar to that, or even a Super Combo, for example. Rip it out their hand so that way they can't use it. Plus, it lets me know what they do have in their hand, how many negates, right, how much combo power they have. So I can use that knowledge, to my advantage. Then we have the Death part of the deck, which is, got some board wipes here. We got more taxing effects, right? Whenever my opponent does something, they'll take damage. So if my opponent plays a counter skill, counter attack, counter play, or counter, they'll take 1 damage once per turn. Both of these have the same effect. It's just that this is a 3-drop and this is a 4-drop. And then Oceanus and Topo, obviously my opponent attacks. They'll pitch 2 cards for each attack with Topo in play, and then Oceanus in play. My opponent mills the top 4 cards of their deck. So those are the taxing aspects of the deck, as well as the leader's active main ability. Your first auto effect. If it's your opponent's turn, when one of your battle cards is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, your opponent chooses 1 card from the hand and sends it to a drop. So obviously there's going to be situations where your opponent's going to try to get rid of your Oceanus, or get rid of, one of your Broly's or your Goku and Eye for an Eye. But even if you have a token, that's a blocker, try to get rid of it. And then, because they did so, the leader's effect will trigger to make them lose a card. So that's always useful. Now what else? Of course, we have the skillless package of the same Scion with 1-drop Trunks, so we can potentially do 3 to 4 damage on turn 1. Well, it will be 4 damage, obviously, because it'll be 1 attack from here, 1 from the leader, and then the 2 skillless Trunks. That's 4 potential damage right there off of 1 card. And of course, the goal is always to get our opponent to 2 or less lives, so that way our Goku and Broly will be lethal for our opponent to play any counter plays or counter attacks. Obviously, we wanted to try out the Vegeta Proud Warrior because it can make a blocker token. So essentially, it's like an extra copy of Homicidal Clones. So that's our defense there, as well as our Chance and Topo. We have Gotenks. We play for 2 energy. Typically, we swing with it. We -2, choose a multicolored card from opponent's hand, or we multicolored card from their hand, or a battle card with 10k power or less from their hand. after we attack, because since we're not doing crit damage, obviously whatever damage we deal, that card's going to get added to your opponent's hand, so you want to do this effect afterwards. Plus, of course, this will die once you do the -2, because it only has 2 markers, right? So obviously you want to play it for 2, swing with it, then do the -2 afterwards. Now you can, of course, pay 3, right? Swing with it, -2, so you can stay on the field. That way, the following turn, if he's still in play, going to do the +1 ability, so that way he has 2 markers, and then later on, the following turn after that, do the -2 effect, so you can try to get more value out of him. So potentially ripping out 2 cards off of him in like 3 turns. It's pretty good. But typically you'll drop him on turn 2, for example. Swing, use his ability, and then turn 3 you typically will drop this if you have them. But in a scenario where you don't have Sin Shenron, then you might want to try to, and let's say you don't play this on turn 2, you would drop this on turn 3 and then try to keep it on the field and try to, get the most out of it. Because you want to at least be able to look at your opponent's hand at least once. That will give you a lot of information that you can use throughout the turns. But at some point, you're going to want to look in their hand, rip out some more cards. And then, of course, we have forcing hit to give us the same ability. Play, look at our opponent's hand, and then we can choose up to 2 battle cards and send them to the drop area if they're 35k power or less. Not to the drop area, to the warp. And then at the end of your opponent's next turn, then you add those cards back. So this is a temporary way of getting rid of two cards you don't want them to use, for the clapback. He's also double strike, so you could use him as a finisher. This is dual attack and a blocker, so you can obviously use it to attack and defend, but it has the active main where you can choose one of your later cards, or you can send cards in rest, put it into rest mode, and then choose all your opponent's battle cards, and with 15k, and then they get -15k power. So this is a reusable way of board wiping your opponent. This is a one-time shot to board wipe your opponent. The leader is not red, so you can't use the active main, but you still can use the auto. Just play it and then KO all battle cards 20k power or less. And I already mentioned Frieza, you play it, look at your opponent's hand, rip some cards out, and then it's a 40k quadruple strike. So obviously it's a finisher. And that's the end of the video.